So this is just a little video about Timps, the Fiona Apple song, as I'm just getting there in the portfolio at the moment. So the main thing I noticed with the two songs is how they're very much set for different styles. So the original one we listened to was very big and had a lot more going on, things moving around and all that stuff. And the second one, the one with the hip hop producer, was very clean. That's the way to put it. The bass and low ends clear, very nice and punchy, very dry, very much a pop mix compared to an alt mix. And honestly, I preferred it. I listened to the whole album on the day just to see if it was like, oh, well, this song kind of sucks, but let's listen to it anyway to see if I actually like it. And in the end, I did actually end up liking it, which is kind of weird. It's not my kind of music in any way, and it's definitely a genre of something that I wouldn't listen to on the daily. It's too musical theatery for me. But that being said, it was actually quite a cool experience listening to the whole album, coming from a background of not listening to that stuff so much. It felt very relatable because I have been around a lot of musical stuff through just life, and I've done lots of courses where the other half of the course are doing the musical stuff and I'm doing the music stuff. So you experience that stuff anyway, and a lot of musicians are generally quite into musical theatre stuff. So it's quite cool. So it was quite, in a sense, relatable, but I felt that it was a cool mix to me because I like that kind of, you get the bass and you get the clear and the clarity and everything. It did feel soulless though. It felt, because I don't know Fiona Apple that well. I don't listen to her. I don't choose to listen to her. I know she's an incredibly popular and well received artist, but not for me. But I felt like the second mix, took all that life out of it. It took all that whimsical left field, what the hell is this out of this? It made it seem a bit more just what you'd expect in pop music in this current era, and which is not really Fiona Apple. So that being said, I would still prefer that mix to the other mix because that other mix is wild as hell and just not for me at all. I don't think it's that special, and I'm sure this is not me trying to say, oh, she's a bad artist or they're bad producers. I just think it's not my kind of stuff, which is fine. I'm entitled to that opinion, and other people are entitled to theirs. But I definitely say the second mix was closer towards my tastes than the first mix. That being said, I would like to listen to more of the original album because I haven't done that yet and see how that sounds now, because I have a feeling it's going to be really wacky, and I'm kind of looking forward to hearing that now because I want to hear something, get something more, expand my musical knowledge. But yeah, I'd definitely listen to it again. I wouldn't choose to listen to it again. If it came up on my Spotify likes, if I'm just putting a shuffle playlist on my liked and it comes up, fine, I'll listen to it. But I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it again. But that being said, that's the same for both mixes. I don't mind them. Obviously, the second mix is better, but I wouldn't choose to listen to either of them if I'd really had the freedom of listening to anything I want. One of the cool things about this, though, is it does show the disparity, well, not the disparity, the differences between an alternative musician and their aims working with a good quality producer, how they envision and how they want their things to sound versus how very white collar, mainstream, like managers, I guess that could be the word, or just corporate stuff in general. They want it to be very straightforward and they want it to be what people expect. They don't want anything unexpected and they want to play it safe and they want to make that back. But with alternative producers and artists, they just want to make what they hear in their heads. They want to share their story and exactly how they hear it. And that's the cool intersection, is that it's a very obvious difference between the two, which is something I've kind of struggled to notice with some other stuff. Because we were given a task to look at other songs, two other songs with an original mix and an alternate mix, sorry. Very confusing, there's a lot of alt beginning stuff. The alt, so I chose actually the band Perry for the second mix, and I've really struggled to find much difference. I also, it may be because it was remastered, and remastering just brings it up, and it may have just been remastered by some very boring, just like commercial company. That being said, I think the original mix of it, the original remastered mix, because the original mix is amazing, but I don't want to bring that in because then that would like blow everything out of the water and I'd be biased. It was one of those things where you don't really notice that much in modern remaster mixes because everything has a very similar ending. Everything just sounds very like the same. And one of the most noticeable things for me was that nothing really changed. You couldn't really hear a difference. Even if you're listening with audio headphones like these, you couldn't really hear a difference. And I was playing the alternate mix and the original mix back to back, playing them like, oh, do I hear any difference? Nothing, which is wild. So it's obviously something that I either am not aware of or it's something subtle enough that it's not really done anything. That being said, I liked the alternate mix more, and I can't really explain why. And I think that's the kind of thing. The original mix is cool. I think it may have been the alternate mix had just a bit more movement and dynamic variation in it. There was actually a third mix to that song. It's called the Pop Remix or something. And all they did really was just make it that bit louder, everything a little bit drier and a bit more just predictable, and put a distorted rhythm guitar solo where the beautiful string solo used to be. I got so annoyed. I was so mad. I just turned off the song because I was like, you've just ruined a masterpiece. But it's those things, those little things can really change or make or break how a song is. Because I don't have that pop version of the song on my liked. I have all three other versions. So the original non remastered, and then the two remastered original and alternate mix saved in my library, in my Spotify library, because they're good. And that's the thing. I didn't really notice much difference, but there is something different between each three of them. And I would probably put the alternate mix on if I was telling someone, oh, listen to this song. But it's so anal that I don't think most people would really care or notice for it, which is quite nice that I feel I'm able to pick up on it. But I covered two sections of this portfolio in one, but it's fine because I'm just going to do a little explanation of the Fiona Apple song. I'll probably link the video, link the originals and stuff. I may do that. What I may end up doing is just putting this video on and then just recording another video where I really deep dive into the differences between the two. Although that being said, that is way too much considering there is not actually crazy amounts different beyond the production. You know, the instrumentation is pretty much the same and it's more of a clarity thing, but I'll re-listen to both of them, I reckon, and just see what I can do, see what comparisons I can make. But I think so far this is a good video for those two subjects, so done pretty good. Bye.